I want to show you a simple purchase order process in Dynamics GP and also in Dynamics 365 Business Central. Let's start with Dynamics GP and a simple inventory or GL and expense PO. This is Dynamics GP. I'm going to open up a purchase order. This is a simple purchase order in Dynamics GP. I can open the item detail here, change the account if I want to, but I'm going to save this. The next step then is receiving it. I can receive this PO right from here. Go to Actions, receive the PO. This is a wizard that comes up. I'm going to receive this. It creates a receiving transaction. I can go ahead and post this. When I want to invoice that, I can go to this screen here, purchasing invoice entry. I can auto invoice. Select the shipment, invoice that. Here's a purchase invoice here. Put the invoice number here. I'm done. I'll post that. So with this demonstration of Dynamics GP's simple purchase order, I have a purchase order entry screen. From that, I can go to the receiving transaction entry screen, then enter the invoice in the purchasing invoice entry screen. Now let's take a look at that in Business Central. I'm in Business Central here. I can look up my PO. Here's my purchase order in Business Central. I've got two line items. The first line item is a GL account, and from this screen, I can receive it and also invoice it. So I'm going to receive it first. Go over here. I'm not going to receive the second item. I'll receive the first. Let's post this. It's going to post the receipt. The next thing I want to do is invoice this. I've got the vendor's invoice. I'll enter the vendor's invoice number. I'm just going to invoice this first line. So I'll go ahead and post that. Post the invoice. And I'm done. In Business Central, there's one screen. I put the purchase order in there. I received the purchase order, and then I invoiced it. Now we'll go back to Dynamics GP and process a purchase order, a receipt, and an invoice for a project-related item. Let's take a look at the purchase order entry screen. Now I'm looking at the purchase order with an alternative form. This alternative form has a project number on it and a cost category ID. We can see that here. Let's look this up. These are the projects I currently have in my system. I selected this one here. These are the cost categories in that particular project. I've got some items I'm buying. Now what I want to do is I want to receive this. Go to Actions, receive the PO items. I've got this wizard here. I'm just going to receive this. The receiving transaction entry screen is filled out. And from here I can go ahead and post this. Next, I want to enter the vendor's invoice. I've received that. I'll go back to this screen here. I'm still using an alternate form. It's got the project information and the cost category ID right here. I can do an auto invoice. I can look up the PO number here. I filled out the invoice. This is ready to go. I need to put an invoice document number here. Then I'll go ahead and post this. And I'm done. So for Dynamics GP, for projects, I've got a set of 3 alternate forms that I use. I use one for purchase order entry, one for receiving transaction entry, and then one for the purchasing invoice entry. Let's go back to Business Central. I've got this purchase order. The first line we've already processed. We received it, we invoiced it. The second line is a job cost line. This one includes job cost information. So this is a project. I've got a job number. I've got a job task number. You can see that here. Look that up. Shows me all the tasks within that particular job. I'm going to receive this in. I've already received the first line. I'm going to receive the second line. So let's go ahead and do that. Hit post. I'm just going to receive it. Now I've received that line. You can see that here. I'm going to go ahead and invoice this. This is the second invoice on this PO, so I'm going to have a different invoice number. You can see that here. I'm going to go ahead and post that. And I'm done. In Business Central, I've got one form where I can process purchase orders for inventory items, expense items, and also job cost items. It's the same form. I can receive from that form, and I can also invoice from that form. In Dynamics GP, I've got 6 separate screens that I use to process a purchase order for inventory or expense items, to receive those, and then to invoice those. Then I have alternative forms for project accounting to enter the purchase order, to receive the purchase order, and also to invoice the purchase order.